I said, big up friend Irie.
Hello, and welcome to Crafting with Brynna. Today we're in the farmhouse of Stomping Ground, and we're going to be knitting a hat together. This is actually my solstice fairy gift for someone in the house, so we'll keep that a secret until it debuts. But we have some colors to choose from. Over here, we're going to knit it with a nice chunky yarn and size 16 needles in the round. So if you want to follow along, you need some circular needles and some yarn of your choosing. So the first thing that you're going to do is cast on in your preferred method. I like to make a slip knot, which I'm doing right here, because this is adjustable and I can slide that onto my needle. Once that's on your needle, you're going to cast on. For this adult size hat, I'm casting on 40 stitches, but if you wanted to make the hat smaller, you could do 36 or 32 stitches. As long as the number of stitches is divisible by 4, it will still work with our pattern. Alright, so here I have all my stitches. I check to make sure that my stitches aren't twisted, that they're all going in the same direction, and I'm joining them in the round. So you can see the black hair tie I'm using as my round marker so that I know when I have completed one row. This comes in handy with the color work that we're going to be doing, but I do mess up in this part too, so it's always okay to take out what you've done and just re-knit. It's just more knitting, and we love knitting. So my friend Maddie's gonna knit with me. We found a nice spot to sit. She's also gonna help me wind this light purple color up into a ball. It's helpful to have two people if you don't have one of those fancy spinning wheels. So this is what we're doing. Day 2. So once you have a nice thick brim, we're gonna start to measure out and see if it's a length that you want. I decided that 12 rows was gonna be good for this hat. I like to fold my brim up halfway, so kind of test it out. I'm using the blue hat as my prototype, so I did about 12 rows in that one. Now that I have the brim done, I'm going to start switching color and doing some color work. I'm using the light purple that Maddie and I wound, and we're repeating the same pattern. Knit 3, purl 1, knit 3, purl 1. Day 3, and the hat is finally taking shape. It's now long enough where I could try it on to make sure that it's the right height for me. I also lost that black hair tie that I was using as a stitch marker, so I had to take this scrap of green yarn and use that instead, which is totally fine. So far I've been improvising a lot of the color work. You can do that if you're familiar with Fair Isle knitting, or as you wish. Improvise, it's fun. So I'm going to work a few more rows of color work, and then I'm going to get ready to decrease. The decreasing method we're going to use is to knit 3 stitches together, so the first 3 knit of your pattern, and then purl 1 until the end of the row. Once you finish that for one row, your next row is going to be knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1 until the end of the row. I like to knit that row as well, and then the stitches that are left, I use a drawstring bind off method, where you cut one end of the yarn and you thread it through the rest of the stitches, pull that nice and tight, which cinches the top of the hat together, and then the last thing to do is weave in all of your ends. Here I'm showing you some sewing needles that I like to use. The darning needles work best for this thick yarn. You can use sewing needles or a crochet hook if you have that laying around. I'm twisting the yarn to get it to fit through the eye of the needle, and then threading the ends back up through the hat. Notice I turned the hat inside out, so you won't be able to see these ends once the hat is right side out. I did not realize that this was still on the outside of the hat. Now we're just gonna sew that same string right back up. You could cross back and forth a few times if you wanted to really close that hole. But I'm not too worried about it. I just want to make sure that my ends aren't going to unravel. So a few passes going down into the hat and then back up will do the trick. And there she is. We have a nice warm winter hat. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was inspiring. And stay tuned for more craft videos coming at you from Stomping Ground.